Hey folks, welcome back to Dan's Auto Diagnostics and Repair. As you can see behind me, we have a big Honda motor, which is a big trailer pressure washer. Got a big tank on it, gas tank, kerosene for the heater because it pressure washes with hot water for better cleaning. Got a couple of hose reels. This is to fill the tank and run the pressure washer. This is supply line water, and there's a lot of extra hose. Nice rig, but customer states that it'll run for about 20 minutes and then shut off. So we're gonna see what the deal is. Let's get after it. Now, instead of running it for 20 minutes for nothing and just wasting water and time, I've decided to pull out this little girl here. She needs a real nice bath. So, yeah. So, we're not going to waste any time. We're going to use it. Alright, I got the water hose hooked up. Water's on. Let's see if we can get anything out of there. Yeah, we can get a little out of there. Let's turn this baby on. Choke. Fires right up. Spraying. Alright, I'm going to run her until she stops. Okay, that didn't take long. I only ran her for a few minutes there, and she went right out on us. We see fuel. Fuel's in there, so that's good. May not be pumping. Let's go ahead and choke her, see if she'll come back on. Does fire up. I'm going to go ahead and pressure wash again, see how long it takes. Alright, she stops as soon as I pull the trigger. Let's try it again. Let's get a little, had to get the pressure out of the hose and going down. I'll let you know when she stops. It seems to me like she's having a fuel delivery issue because every time I load her up, she bogs down. And then I'll let the trigger go, let her build up again. She bogs down and cancels right out. So let's check this fuel cap. Let's see if we take that off, if we hear a vacuum on it. Nope. Plenty of fuel in it. Didn't hear any kind of sucking noise as if there was a vacuum. I see plenty of fuel in here. You see the arrows going towards the carburetor, so that's right. It looks like there's a little date on here, 4/21/25, so they just changed that. Let's get the top off here. Alright, get some tools. Start ripping and tearing. Metal tray is your friend. Alright. So there's the carburetor. Looks like it may have a new fuel pump on there. Well, maybe we'll dig into this carburetor and just clean it up. Take the old brake clean tour. Douse it down a bit. Spray a little down in there. And I also run some carb clean through her. Sometimes I wish we could like disconnect the pump on pressure washers and that real nice and easy without having to unbolt anything. Just disconnect it like a coupling. Maybe pull a pin or something and then it disconnects the pumps, because you can't run these without running water. You know, you'll burn the pump out. So in order to test the motor and everything, you got to have the water running. So maybe that's a tip for the future. Maybe I'll invent something. All right, I'm gonna run her a few times, see what's going on here. Just dies right out. Still got a little fuel in the fuel filter. And just in case, I did loosen the gas cap in case there's a vacuum in there preventing this fuel from getting to the carb. But she'll fire right back up. And she'll fall on her face again. That's fuel or electrical. We need to figure out which one. Alright, I got this little RPM gauge. You just clamp it onto the wire and you see how many RPMs it has. I'm going to see if that stops reading RPMs when this stops, or before it stops, and try to figure out if it's electrical or fuel here. Maybe this will give us an idea. It's not really fast enough to tell me, because it was doing a lot of pausing in there, and I thought that maybe it would go out, but it sure didn't. Alright, I'm going to choke it, bring the fuel down a little bit, and we'll see if we can get her running by manipulating fuel here. No, that just shuts right off. It looks like we got fuel in here. I mean, not much. Hard to tell here. Alright, I'm gonna get some starter fluid, and when she starts pooping out like that, maybe I'll hit it one quick time and see if she comes back to life. Alright, starter fluid, let's try this. I was hitting it. Wasn't coming back on. Could be electrical. I'm thinking we might have an electrical problem with this old girl. She just cancels right out. And I hit her with the spray, you know, the Gojo juice, before it conks out. And I hit it in time for it to start coming back to life. So I'm gonna look into seeing how this thing runs, what kind of sensors it has on it. I see it's got here, this is probably a water flow situation, some kind of sensor. I'm not really sure. But, you know, it may sense that if it doesn't have any water, it shuts down. I see some kind of a rectifier or regulator, CDI, something. But there's a big bunch of wires right here. I'm going to see if I can't get a schematic diagram and get some information on how this whole operation works so that I can diagnose it accurately. Alright, I pulled apart the connectors here. Got a little dirt in there. I'm going to clean all that out. Yeah, I'll clean those, put some deoxit in it, see what it does. But, you know, it's firing right up right away, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. If anything, you know, the electronics in here might be an issue. Might be a heat issue, I don't know. Alright, what I did was I fired this thing back up, and I didn't push the choke all the way back in. Just a little bit. And I got the throttle up all the way, well, almost all the way, and it ran. It never quit on me. So I'm gonna try that. That would indicate strongly that there's a fuel delivery issue. I don't know why it wouldn't fire up with the juice, the go-go juice, but let's try that again. Let's see if she stays running with the choke halfway in. Cancels right on out. Alright, let's pull that choke. Stays running. Take the choke off. Doesn't take long. That screams fuel delivery to me. I'm going to take this carb off here. See if I can get her in the ultrasonic cleaner. Clean her up real good, blow out all the ports in that, and put her back on and see how she does. Alright, took this cover off here. I got to the fuel pump. I'm just going to take this fuel pump off. I want to get to this line here. This one right here. And I want to see if this thing's working. We'll break out the old hose separator. Sometimes I just can't get in there to use it. Great tool when I can. not a lot of room to play with this fuel line. This would probably be a vacuum line that's going to the engine. I'm trying to get off now. Alright. There it is. There it is. That's off. Now I got another little... Got a hose here I'm going to put on. Just kind of suck on it. So that'll tell you. I don't know if you can see that there. But here's where the fuel comes out. So you see that fuel pump is working. So if we get enough vacuum out of here, or enough vacuum out of here or the bottom of the motor, this fuel pump is working fine. Alright, I've hooked the vacuum gauge up to it. I'm going to try to fire it up again. See what we got. Dead. Now she was teetering quite a bit there, but she was getting some vacuum. All right, I got everything hooked back up. This is the fuel to the carb. Let's just see if we're getting the fuel. For sure, plenty of fuel coming out of there. So fuel pump's working. That's working. I'm going to take this carb off and I'm going to clean it up. As you can see on this one, we've got plenty of actuating arms. We've got a spring. The actuating arm actually goes through the spring here. On this side, we got another little actuating arm with springs here. So, like I always tell you folks, take your photos. On this one, it looks like you can see on the back we got 4 bolts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, to take the carb off of this one. So weird, can't really see anything back here, but I'm going to take that off. If you guys aren't familiar with the way that these retaining clips on these actuators work, they're actually clipped on to the actuating arm. You gotta unclip them. You take them off just like that, and then you can pull them out. Same way with this one over here. Push that out of the way right there, and you can just take it right out. Here's something I've never seen before. Right there in the line, you got a little filter in there. A little screen. Fill filter right in line. Interesting. Almost out of there. Come on now. Come on now. Ah, come on. Finger tight. Hate it when you get them bolts where it's like you could almost get them finger, you know, or they'll just go finger tight for like a couple threads and then that's it, or a half turn. Then you gotta keep on getting the ratchet or wrench on it. Alright, I think we got them all out here. Oh man. Got all kinds of stuff connected underneath. And it looks like that's going to be a bear to get to. That's not good. This might be difficult. Uh-oh. Almost dropped that long bolt down there. Come on. Just give me enough room to get this out. Come on. There we go. I got that. I can pull that off of there. Let me tell you a little story, and I want to tell you this because I got something funny to show you. But when I brought this in here, this only had three bolts, and I actually took this off at the customer's shop, and it only had 3 bolts. And I asked him where the other one was. He don't know. Lost it. Look in the carb. There it is. That's that little fella. There's your bolt, pal. Right there. I got the bolt out of there, but I had to take the choke butterfly off first. I had to take this plate off in order to get it out. It wouldn't get past it with the plate on. Crazy. Alright, I got the bowl off, got the float off, the valve seat. There's the float. Oh, there went the seat. The needle valve, rather. The needle valve. I took a couple of jets out. Those out. I'm going to put all that in the ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, I'm going to blow it out and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner right now. I got my Halloween M&M's jar filled with gas. I'm just going to start putting them in there. Put the parts in. Put the jets in there. And that's about it. Seal it up and off to the cleaner. Alright, here we go. Temperature and time. See you in 30 minutes. I always like to see that working in there. Nice. Alright, we got it out of the cleaner, and that looks dark. That is definitely some dirty gas now. Yeah, came out pretty nice. Alright, there's all our clean parts. Let's put it together, slap it back on. There you have it. Fuel pumps secure. Fuel lines, vacuum lines, actuating arms, it's all in there. Time to put this on with all 4 screws and see what we got. Can you tell which bolt was in the carb? Yeah, she got cleaned. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what we got. Maybe we ran out of water. Let me check that. All right, I got the hose on her running this time. Let's see. Not good. Not good. She shut down. Yeah, she'll run all day like that. The moment you crank her up, now that has got to be electrical. Something's going on there. As long as you run it lower, it's fine. We're gonna have to figure out why that is. All right, we're gonna try one more thing. We already put the RPM gauge on there to try to do the test that I'm kind of doing now. I actually got off the phone with a customer, pretty intelligent fella, and he suggested this as well. So he's right on, he's spot on with this. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna fire this up. We have the spark tester right here, and we're gonna see when it shuts down, do we see a loss of spark? So let's do that now. Got the water going. Make sure we got all pressure we need here. All right, that's good there. All right, turn it up. Yep, we lost spark. That indicates to me that something is turning this ignition off. So we got to figure out what that is. Now the little I know about these motors, I know that this motor will shut off if it's too low on oil, and I believe if there's too much oil. So we're going to check that. I can not really see, but I see that it is full because it's at the second dot there. I'll see that it's overfilled. Doesn't seem like the problem. All right, I'm down here in the office now. I pulled up a wiring diagram on this GX630. Here it is. Here's our coils, left and right. This is the spark plug. Down here we have, this is our low oil switch. I would imagine this is a normally open switch. Once it closes, it grounds out these coils, and then we don't have any spark. Now that's on the yellow wire. Our power is on the blue wire, assuming that's a BL. Can't see it that good. That's power. And then our Y goes through this little box here, which is the hour meter. So I printed it out and blew everything up. And it is the M, so that's our hour meter. So it's going through there. Somehow it's shutting off power to our coils. So this is what we got to figure out. How these are powered. It looks like that blue is going straight. This is a connector. And it's going straight up to the ignition. You see blue here, ignition wire. So that's our power. And Y must be our control, but that goes through this hour meter. Not sure. Thankfully, I have the option to blow a lot of stuff up with my computer here. So I've printed all the wire colors, labels, switches, all the wiring here, all the connectors. So we got a good idea and we can see it. It's a lot better than having this. Very small, can't read it. So this is going to help. And I don't know if you can tell, but it is raining, so we're going to wait a little bit. As you can see, I pulled it in the shop here because it's dry. And if you're following along here, now we're going to have to take this cover off. It's just 4 bolts. Boom, this comes off. and then there's a 10mm bolt here, down here, and then there's like some Phillips bolts here, and then you can take this cover off. What we're doing is we're just going to check this wiring harness for any rub outs behind here and see if anything's grounding it out and causing it to shut down. Alright, that's that. Alright, here we go, folks. This might be it. Looking in here. See that? That's rubbing on the teeth in there. Let's get that pulled off of there. Oh yeah, that might be the money shot. Look at that. Yep, I bet you that's where it's rubbing out. Right there. That's our issue. Alright, let's open up this harness. See what's up. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, that wire's in half. And this one is rubbing on the flywheel teeth. All right, let's get that fixed. We'll repair that and we'll try her again. All right, I got the butt splice on there. Heat shrink's ready. I'm just gonna go ahead and burn it on there. Tape it up. Should be good to go. These are 4-to-1 heat shrinks, so they do a great job. And they have the adhesive inside of them. You can kind of see the sealant coming out of the top there. There we go, all nice and taped up. So now we're just going to zip tie it up in here in a way that it can never happen again. Alright, we're going to turn the water on. Moment of truth. There we go. It's all the way up on high. We got her. Alright, there you go. We got her all buttoned up now and ready to ship. Well, almost ready to ship. Got the hoses here. But that's going to be it for this one. A little wiring issue. I probably should have looked in there way earlier, like way before I cleaned the carb and all that, but it is what it is. And at least we got that bolt out of the carb and it's definitely clean. We don't have to worry about those issues. Verified that the pump's working good, so wasn't really all for naught. And it's all for a good cause. If you liked that one, just like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.